The wrong table. Chen adjusted her simple black dress for the third time as she stood at the entrance of the Grand Meridian Hotel's ballroom. The annual corporate gala stretched before her like an ocean of elegant evening wear and confident laughter. Crystal chandeliers cast warm golden light across tables draped in pristine white linens, each adorned with towering arrangements of white orchids and flickering candles. As a marketing intern at Blackwood Industries, Emma had never expected to receive an invitation to such an exclusive event. She clutched her small purse tighter, feeling completely out of place among the sea of executives and their glamorous partners. The invitation in her email had simply stated Table 12, but as she scanned the room, the numbered placards seemed to blur together in her nervousness. Taking a deep breath, Emma made her way through the crowd, apologizing softly each time she bumped into someone. The conversations around her buzzed with talk of quarterly reports, merger opportunities, and weekend yacht trips to the Hamptons. She felt like an imposter in a world she was only just beginning to understand. Finally spotting what she thought was Table 12, Emma slipped into an empty chair, grateful to have found her place. The table was positioned prominently near the front of the room, with an excellent view of the stage where the evening's presentations would take place. She noticed the extra elegant place settings and assumed it was simply the company's attention to detail. As other guests began taking their seats around her, Emma couldn't help but notice their designer gowns and expensive jewelry. The woman to her left wore a stunning emerald dress that probably cost more than Emma's monthly rent, while the gentleman across from her sported a watch that gleamed with what looked like real diamonds. "Excuse me," Emma whispered to the woman in emerald. "I'm Emma from the marketing department. I don't think we've met." The woman smiled politely but seemed confused. "Oh, marketing, how interesting. I'm Victoria Ashford. My husband is on the board of directors." Emma's stomach began to flutter with uncertainty, but she pushed the feeling aside. Perhaps she was simply meeting people from different levels of the company. After all, wasn't that what these events were supposed to accomplish? As the evening progressed, Emma found herself relaxing despite her initial nervousness. The conversations were fascinating, even if she sometimes felt lost when they discussed topics far above her current position. She sipped her wine slowly, trying to pace herself while listening to stories about international business deals and corporate strategy. During the appetizer course, a distinguished man with salt and pepper hair and an impeccably tailored navy suit took the seat directly across from her. He had an air of quiet authority that immediately drew attention, and Emma noticed how the other guests seemed to defer to him slightly when he spoke. "Good evening," he said warmly, his voice carrying a hint of curiosity as he glanced at Emma. "I don't believe we've been introduced." "I'm Michael." "Emma," she replied, grateful that he seemed friendly despite his obvious importance. "I'm an intern in the marketing department. This is actually my first company gala." Michael's eyebrows raised slightly, but his smile remained genuine. "Your first? Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself. These events can be a bit overwhelming." As the evening continued, Emma found herself drawn into conversation with Michael. He asked thoughtful questions about her background, her studies, and her impressions of the company. Unlike some of the other executives she'd encountered during her internship, he seemed genuinely interested in her responses rather than simply making polite small talk. "Can I be honest about something?" Emma said during a lull in the conversation, emboldened by the wine and Michael's easy manner. "I've been working at Blackwood for 3 months now, and I've barely seen the CEO. Everyone talks about him like he's some kind of mystery figure who makes all these grand decisions from his ivory tower." Michael leaned forward slightly, his expression curious. "Oh, and what do you think about that?" Emma felt her cheeks warm, but she continued, "Well, I think it's a shame, really. How can someone effectively lead a company if they don't know what's happening on the ground level? I mean, I understand he's busy, but even a brief visit to different departments would show he cares about the people who actually do the work every day." The other guests at the table had grown quiet, listening to Emma's passionate speech. Michael nodded thoughtfully, his eyes twinkling with what looked like amusement. "Those are very valid points," he said carefully. "Perhaps the CEO simply hasn't found the right opportunity to connect with the newer employees. What would you suggest?" Emma warmed to the topic, grateful to have someone who seemed to take her concerns seriously, maybe informal coffee sessions, or even just walking through the offices occasionally. "I know it sounds simple, but sometimes the most effective leadership is just being visible and approachable." Michael smiled broadly. "Those are excellent suggestions. I'll be sure to pass them along." As the evening wound down and the final speeches concluded, Emma realized she had spent most of the gala in deep conversation with Michael. She had barely noticed the other events happening around them. So engaged had she been in their discussion about leadership, corporate culture, and the importance of employee engagement. "Thank you for such a wonderful evening," Emma said as guests began to stand and mingle. "It's been so refreshing to talk with someone who actually listens to ideas, regardless of where they come from in the company hierarchy." Michael stood as well, straightening his jacket. "Emma, I have a confession to make." His voice was gentle but serious. "I think there's been a small misunderstanding this evening." Emma felt her heart skip. Had she said something wrong? Had her criticism been too harsh? "You see," Michael continued, I believe you may have ended up at the wrong table tonight. This is the VIP table reserved for board members and their guests." He paused, his expression kind. "And I should probably mention that I'm Michael Blackwood." The words hit Emma like a physical blow. Michael Blackwood, the CEO, the man she had spent the entire evening criticizing for being absent and disconnected from his employees. Her face flushed crimson as the full realization dawned on her. "Oh my goodness," she whispered, mortified. "I am so sorry. I never meant to." But Michael held up a gentle hand, his smile reassuring. "Emma, please don't apologize. This evening has been one of the most valuable experiences I've had in years. You've given me exactly the kind of honest feedback I never get to hear. Your insights about leadership and employee engagement weren't wrong just because you didn't know who you were talking to." He paused, studying her face with genuine warmth. "In fact, I'd like to take you up on those suggestions. Would you be interested in helping me implement some of those informal connection opportunities you mentioned? I think the company could benefit greatly from your perspective." Emma stared at him, unable to quite believe what she was hearing. "You're not firing me." Michael laughed, a rich, genuine sound. "Quite the opposite. I'm hoping you'll consider joining my leadership team as a consultant on employee engagement. It seems I have a lot to learn about connecting with the people who make this company what it is." As the ballroom slowly emptied around them, Emma felt a warmth spreading through her chest that had nothing to do with the wine. Sometimes, she realized, ending up at the wrong table could lead you to exactly where you belonged.